Hello Stampers, Jan Faring here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to share with you a project that I was actually asked by a customer, and it's in the mini catalog, the January to April 2026 mini catalog on page 45, and there is a box that is made for cookies. So I am going to share this with you and show you how I made it. I did call Stampin' Up! And chatted with them and asked them if they had the measurements, and they didn't. So I did a little research and I figured out how to make my own. So I want to share this with you today. And I appreciate Lisa asking about it. So this is the box that I made, and it is the one, it's using the same paper as from the catalog. I added a little bug there, and it is 5 inches by 5 inches, so it can hold a large cookie, a crumble cookie, or one you make yourself, or it can probably hold a half a dozen cookies. So I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to share with you how to make your own size boxes as well. I saw a video by Donna Griffith, who used to work for Stampin' Up!, and she showed how to make boxes, and so I'm going to share that with you. So first of all, I'm going to make the box, show you how to assemble it, and then I will go through all the steps I did to figure it out. So I'm starting out with a piece of cloud cover, which I am going to be using the same Cute as a Bug Designer Series paper, but a different one because I ran out of the other one. So I'm starting with a piece of cloud cover cardstock, which is 7.5 by 7.5. And before you do any scoring, first of all, you need to take off just a little bit because we need the box bottom to be a tiny bit smaller than the top so it'll fit on well. So I'm using my trimmer, and if you will see here, there is the gray track. There's the track, and the side of the track is here on the right, and that first line is 1/8 of an inch to the right of the track. So I'm going to put it between 1/8 and then that gray part, and that will cut off just a smidge. So I'm going to cut off just a smidge, and I mean a smidge. It's not very big. It's probably 1/16 of an inch. And then we're going to take off, we need 2 sides to take it off. So one coordinating side that measures up here, and so then we're going to take off that 1/4 of an inch, or not 1/4, 1/16 of an inch. So we've got both of those taken off, and now I'm going to score it on all 4 sides at 1 1/4 inch. So my cutting blade is up here, and this is my scoring blade, and I'm going to score it on all 4 sides at 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 on all 4 sides. And now we have 4 sides done. And as soon as we get that done, then we're going to put the box together. So we're going to take the snips, and we are going to cut up to the score line on the tab, right like that. And then I'm going to cut off, just wedge the edges so that it will fold in, and it will fold nicely and you won't be able to see it. Now we're going to come to the other side and use, again, cut up to the score line and then just wedge it on both sides, both ends. Now we'll turn it around, and we're going to do this side, and we're going to keep it the same way, cut on the same score lines on each side. Turn it around and cut off this one and wedge that in. So Now we've got that all done. So now I'm going to burnish those score lines well. Just burnish them well. And I'm going to also burnish the tabs so they will go in and fit well. And I am going to use the multi-purpose glue. It's not my favorite because I'm so messy with it, but it does hold well. So I'm just going to add some glue on the tab, and then I'm going to bring that in like this to form the corner. And with this glue, you just have to hold it for a few seconds just to make sure it sticks. And add a little bit extra there, so just tap that off. Now we're going to add again. And again, we'll just hold that in there just for a few seconds so it sticks and doesn't come apart. And by the time we get this done, it'll be well glued down and it will not come up, will not come off undone. Just hold it a couple of seconds. And then the last one. And there. Now I've got all 4 corners done, and there's the bottom of our box. And it measures 1 1/4 inches, which is perfect size for cookies. So that's the bottom of the box. Now the top of the box, first of all, I scored it. And then before I did anything else, I ran it through because I want to put a window in it, I ran it through with the stylish shapes, the largest stylish shapes, and I cut out the center. I just pretty well lined it up by eye, but you can measure it. And then, but I had scored it first because you have to, the bed of the die cutting machine is only 6 inches, a little over 6 inches. So this has to be cut and folded under so that you can get it through. Otherwise, if you use the full piece, it won't go through. It'll tear your paper. So I did that first because I wanted to make sure that I had that cut. And now I'm going to, I'm going to fold over these so I can tell where my score lines are. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did on the bottom. I'm going to cut up. It's going to be a cut up. I'm going to cut up to the score line and then wedge those pieces. Cut the wedge on all 4 corners, of course. Yeah, I kind of got a little extra there. And then we're going to go over here and do this over here. Cut up to the score line and cut off the edges so we can have a nice finish. And then we're going to come over here and do this one. And then trim off those edges. And then we're going to do the other one. And now we'll have all 4 done, and then we can put it together just like we did with the bottom. We'll add the glue, liquid glue. And so we'll start on this one. Just add some glue, enough to keep it. And we'll just hold that just for a couple of seconds. The one good thing about the liquid glue is it gives you a little wiggle room. So if you don't get it quite even, you can still move it. And here's the other one. we'll hold that. And then the next one. And hold that for a few seconds. And then the last one. Now I said we're going to have the window in it, and I could leave it open, but I'm going to actually put some window sheet. And I cut the window sheet 3.5 by 3.5. So my hands are sticky. Okay, so now I have my window sheet. Here's my window sheet, which you can, it's hard to see it, but you can see it. And I'm going to add some, just going to use my seal and add some adhesive. I could have done this before I put it together, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm able to get it just right along the edge, and then we'll add our window sheet in there. 3.5 by 3.5. So there is the top. And as you can see, it fits very nicely over. It's not too sloppy, but it fits very nice. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to show you the other ones I made, and then I'll show you the directions. Here's one I made using the Cute as a Bug Designer Series paper, and I used Mossy Meadow with some of the golden garden green ribbon, or Mossy Meadow ribbon, I think it is. I didn't put a window in this one because I thought, well, I could just give somebody a gift and they can just open it up. So that's one. This is the Delicate Dreams Designer Series paper. I think that is so gorgeous. And I used basic white thick cardstock for the card base. And then I used, this one is Lovely and Beautiful Designer Series paper, and it is beautiful. And I used fresh freesia, and I put a doily in it. So it'd be fun to have a doily and the cookie sitting on the doily. Crumble cookie, think crumble cookies, think chocolates, think candy, whatever. Here's another one, and this is the Lovely and Beautiful, and I used Calypso Coral for the coordinating color. And this is the Lovely and Beautiful as well, and it is gold and white. And I used the basic white thick on this one as well. Isn't that gorgeous? This would make a nice wedding gift. You could put something special in there. This one is the Easter Basket Designer Series paper, and it's thick. So I actually used a piece of it, a coordinating piece for the bottom, because it's really thick. I wouldn't use regular Designer Series paper, but this is really thick, so that worked really good. And then this one is using the Homemade Sweetest Designer Series paper. I cut out one of the jam jars and a little something for you. And this one is a little shorter. On the top is a little less, it's not quite as thick, but I kind of like it just a little bit longer because I like, but this looks fine too. It's 5 by 5, so it will hold a lot of stuff. And this one is actually the first one I made, and it is quite a bit thicker. It is actually 1.5 inches wide, tall, and 5 by 5, 5 inches by 5 inches, and all the sides are 1.5 inches. And then the this paper is from Ness of Winter, and it's Pool Party, and it goes really well with the Pool Party base. So I thought I would show you the way to, so that you can make your own. So what you do is you take, and I will show you the one I made. So this is the calculator, you might say, and you want to decide how deep you want it. So this is for the bottom, how deep you want it. So the ones that I wanted, most of them I made were 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. So you put the 1 1/4 inch in that first line, and then 5 inches is the inside, that's the width, and then 1 1/4 inches on the side. So then you have your sides and your bottom, and you add those together. 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 is 2 1/2, and 5 is 7 1/2. So that's for the bottom. For the and then you be sure and cut off 1/16 on 2 sides. And then for the top, you want to decide if you want it to go all the way down. I didn't, because I wanted to show this paper. But for the top, you decide how deep you want it. And I made them 7/8 of an inch. So 7/8 plus, and a 7/8 here, and then 5 inches. And that 7/8 and 7/8 is 1 3/4, and then 5 is 6 3/4. So that's how I got my measurements for scoring. So the bottom of the box was 7 1/2 by 7 1/2, scored at 1 1/4, and the top is, the top is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. That's what you cut out, and then 7/8 inch is where you score it. So again, for this box, well, I'll get one that doesn't have a ribbon on it. So the bottom is 5 inches by 5 inches plus 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, which is 7 1/2. So you cut your paper 7 1/2, and then you score it on all 4 sides at 1 1/4. And then for the top, you decide how deep you want it, and I wanted it 7/8 of an inch. So 7/8 and 7/8, and 5 is 6 3/4. So you cut your paper 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then score at 7/8 on all 4 sides. Okay, so it's really easy. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I will add the measurements below in the below this video, and then I will have a PDF that you can download so that you have the directions and how to go about doing it all. So I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.